What's up, guys? I'm back with my day trading recap for February 15th, 2023. Today I traded SPY, and if you watched my last video, what I said is that depending on where we open, if we open around 4100, a bounce down to 4100, and a rip, a touch, playing off the 4150 or the 4100 area. Either we open below or above those areas, we touch and reject, or we bounce and we rip, and that's what I was looking for. We pretty much got exactly that. We opened above 4100. We came down, came within 4 points of touching it, and then proceeded to rip throughout the day. I did not follow that. It was a very mixed day. I traded way too much, way too many times today. I definitely over traded, and I paid for it. Ultimately, I ended up down about $200. I am swinging 3 put options. I didn't see this last bar on the market. I don't know how they'll go. I'm willing to let them go to nothing. It's just pretty much based on how low of our volume was here. We haven't had volume, 61, and it'll still continue to rise a bit. Actually, after I was pretty much done. But again, very low volume on such a big candle. While it's not the end all be all, I did say that last time we had this, and then we came out with candle looking like this. We had low volume here and then an absolute ripper of a day there, but that was also, I believe, FOMC or big data day. And so with such low volume and a big move, breaking a major trend line and trying to break a key area for us, we've been in the zone for quite some time. So I swung those puts, and I'll quickly touch on what I think for tomorrow after I go over my trades. Initially, I can go real quick, I entered some puts, and then I did swing to call and then back to put. So initially I entered puts looking for a reject. I ended up actually closing out when we came up here. And I followed my trade plan, my stop loss. I was very happy with it. I don't care that we came down and ripped. I followed my plan for that trade. So on following my trades, I was 1 for 1. While I was red, I was very content with how I played it. I was actually very pleased with how I played it. After that, I just began to overtrade. Because then I grabbed some more puts and those worked out, and then I grabbed calls. So I actually was able to recapitalize on puts. So I closed my first put a little down here because I didn't want to eat that entire way in case we kept going. And then once we got up to this level around those pre-markets, then I was able to get back in, add to those, and I was actually doing green on the day. I switched back to calls once we came down to this 410 area. Initially the first time, got out, and then I hopped back in puts, and that is when I just let it get the best of me. I trimmed nicely. I had decent risk management. I trimmed again here because we weren't getting follow through, and then I missed my another trim just to take risk off the table, and those are what I'm actually ended up swinging. Obviously, if you plan on something being a day trade, you shouldn't let it go to a long-term swing trade. Overall, I'm not pleased with how I traded today. I had a great first half of the day, and then I just overtraded, and so I need to make note of that. I didn't follow my plan today, so I can't give myself props for that. Like I said, I had 2 great trades following my plan. I had 2 trades that followed my plan very well, and then I just let it get the better of me. Now I'm just hoping with a little bit of support that we drop tomorrow. Honestly, if we'd come up to previous close and I was still liquid, this would have been a great reject to play as well off of previous close. Previous close levels have been awesome, and they've presented very strong levels. So, that would have been a nice $1.50 move for you. All in all, like I said, overtraded. I'll take notes, and you guys, take something from my losing day, that I hit my daily goal, and then I let it go against me. Once I hit that daily goal, I'm making a mental note, and I'm writing it down. It's one of my rules. I'm trying to follow a trading plan, very, very strict trading plan that I am attempting to implement. It's just that psychological game. I'm sure everyone can relate. It's very difficult to overcome. But if I hit my trading goal, I got to be down to runners, a runner specifically. I don't trade large enough sizes to have multiple runners. And then if we come back, then I need to cut it at my goal, or make sure that I have a very strong stop loss that I have in place. That's kind of my lesson for the day. Especially after fighting back from red, it wasn't major. It was about $40, which, like I said, perfectly within my plan. Fighting back to green on the day, that's awesome. Going from red to green is a good feeling too. and I had it, and I should have just let myself walk away with it. But then over trading, the price action was just all over the board. It was interesting to trade, and then we just chopped, and I should have gone out in the chop because the chop just killed. As for tomorrow, depending, again, it all depends where we open after, or open tomorrow morning. If we get above 4150, that would be ideal. I know I keep harping on these levels, but we've just played them so much. I mean, you can see if you played 4100 here, you could have rode that for a good bit. If you played a 4150 reject, depending on where you had a stop loss, you definitely could have played it there. And so we're back at it again. If we get to 4150, if we open above that, I'd love to see a touch and go and good volume. I want to see good volume to confirm this trend break. If we get good volume on this trend break, then I'll really, really be pleased. What I want to see initially is maybe an open below 4150 and come back and test this trend line. So around the 4120 mark. If we test it and hold, and then maybe Friday's a big move, but tomorrow I'd like to see us test this to really give confidence that we're broken past this. So the 4120 to 4130, again, depending on how you draw your line, I know mine's not perfect. It's just the general premise. It gives you an idea. And I think with such low volume today, if we break below this, then again, 4100, I think that's an inevitable level. But if we can hold this with volume, then in the coming days, maybe Friday, early next week, I think 4200 is incredibly likely. And that would be a beautiful swing trade. If we hold this, I'll honestly probably swing something to get it up there. We also do have PPI tomorrow morning. I believe it is the PPI. And that should move the market a bit depending on what it is. Yeah, it is PPI. I just double checked. And so again, that'll be a big catalyst. If it's good news, then I wouldn't be surprised if we don't even come back and touch this trend line. We just rip because we already broke it once. If we have the volume and good data, then 4200 is incredibly likely. If it's bad, then I think for sure we at least come and test this line. If not, come back and test 4100. So those will be my main watches tomorrow. I know I mainly harp on SPX. I just think it provides such good levels with everything. The main thing I play on if we have it, I can't talk, is gaps. If we have any gaps, overnight gaps that we don't fill, then I look for those to fill initially, and that's where I look on SPY. Otherwise, the SPX levels, I've become more and more attached to them as they're just really solidified, and then the markets react very well to them. They very much respect them, and so that's why I've kind of gravitated towards those. But that's all I got for you guys today. As always, remember to trade smart, trade safe, and always live to trade another day.